The Red Sox clearly have one major focus in this year's draft. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Seat Radio. My name is Corbin. The second day of the MLB Draft is officially come and gone, with over 300 people now having their dreams turned into reality. For the Red Sox, they had one thing in mind, and that was to load up on pitchers, and load up on pitchers they did. So what we are going to do in today's video is we're going to take a look at the Red Sox next 10-ish draft picks, talk about who they are, how they could impact the Sox, and ultimately what this strategy may mean for the future of the Boston Red Sox. But before we get into that, just a heads up, we are going to be live tonight. There's no Red Sox game, but we are going to be watching the All-Star game together and talking about the Red Sox draft strategy, plus the latest trade deadline news. All of that will begin on this channel right around 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. If you haven't been to one yet, this one's going to be a ton of fun. I highly recommend stopping on by. Again, 7:45 Eastern on this channel. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so if you missed the first day of this year's draft, there were two picks that the Red Sox made that I absolutely loved. I broke them down. That video will be somewhere in this area if you want to check it out before watching this one. But coming into day two, the Red Sox started in round 3, where they selected right-handed pitcher Brandon Neely of the University of Florida. The Red Sox clearly have a type with pitchers here, as he has a very similar release point as their second-round draft pick, Peyton Toll, with a similarly unhittable fastball, averaging around 93 miles an hour, but has gotten up to that 96-97 range pretty consistently in his last season. And speaking of his last season, it wasn't the best statistical season in 2024 for Brandon Neely. He had a 5.13 ERA in 28 appearances, 6 of them being starts, but he absolutely pounds the zones with strikes, with 108 strikeouts to 28 walks in 79 innings, and he did get a ton of swing and miss, around 12.3 strikeouts per 9 innings. Scouts are kind of split on Neely's future here. There are some scouts that believe he has the potential to be a legitimate major league starter. Others believe he's destined for the bullpen. I think the big thing here is going to be whether or not Neely can consistently get up to that 96-97 range and what his off-speed develops like. He has a pretty decent slider and an okay changeup, but they aren't super crazy right now. If the Red Sox can get those things working, he could legitimately be a starting pitcher at the major league level. Pick number 4 for the Boston Red Sox was another college outfielder by the name of Zach Ard, who showed some real pop from the right-hand side for Oklahoma this season, slashing .333 with a .458 on base percentage and a .627 slug, good for a 1.085 OPS. He hit 15 home runs with a really impressive 25 doubles and walked more at 54 than he struck out at 36. He is a solid, well-rounded prospect, both offensively and defensively. The key to Zach's development is whether or not he's going to be able to maintain this power approach as he faces more advanced pitching. If he's able to do that, in my opinion, this is a guy offensively to keep your eye on as he makes his way through the Red Sox system, because again, he's very well rounded in almost every other aspect of his game. The other cool thing about Zach, he does have a brother who is a catching prospect in the Red Sox system as well. Just kind of a cool little factoid there. Pick number 5 was Brandon Clark, another left-handed starter, a college starter, this time out of JUCO, sitting at 6'4", 220. He's got a whole lot of velo, averaging around 96-ish miles an hour, and he punched a ton of tickets this season with 107 strikeouts in just 74 and a third inning. But he did allow quite a bit of walks at 35 and had a 1.35 whip, so there was some decent traffic on the base pass. However, he's another guy whose off-speed pitches and command are going to be the determinant as to where he ends up developing towards the major league level. If he can get those under control, again, it's another guy that scouts believe does have the potential to start in Major League Baseball. If he can't, then, well, it's going to be more of a bullpen type role for him. Pick number 6 was Blake Aita, a right-handed pitcher out of Kennesaw State University. He doesn't have a ton of velocity on his fastball, sitting in the low 90s, but what he does have is really high spin rates on both his fastball and his off speed, which most likely has a lot to do why the Red Sox drafted him. He had a 3.90 ERA in 16 starts with a 1.219 whip and 84 strikeouts in 85 and a third innings with 28 walks. Blake feels pretty destined to be a bullpen arm. He has two really solid pitches, but hasn't really been able to master that third. And on top of that, he has a pretty violent delivery to the plate, which could limit his ability to throw a ton of pitches while he develops in minor league baseball. The other thing too is that he does throw a whole lot of strikes, which could be a big thing here as he gets towards Major League Baseball. And another reason why a lot of scouts believe he's more so destined for the bullpen than he is a Major League rotation. Still, a really interesting depth arm for the Boston Red Sox. Pick number 7 was Will Turner, a college outfield, this time a lefty out of Southern Alabama. This one's a really interesting one because coming into the 2024 season, there were questions as to whether or not Will Turner could get up to a second-round draft pick. He had been playing really well up until this point. However, the 2024 season saw him drop off a bit, mostly due to a bit of a poor performance at the plate. It was a 218 average with a still impressive 408 on base percentage and a 421 slug, good for an 830 OPS. He still walked a whole lot more than he struck out, 56 walks to 47 Ks, but he attempted to really focus on improving his power this season at the collegiate level, and while he did do that, he hit 9 home runs, which ties his career high. It also led a lot of at-bats with him getting under the baseball and leading to a lot of really easy pop-ups. For the Red Sox, the challenge here is going to be getting him back to a more contact-forward type player, because if you can do that, he's going to be an absolute on-base machine with really high defensive possibilities. If that's the profile the Red Sox want, that's the profile that they could get out of this guy. But if they do want to keep increasing his power, they're going to have to find a way to balance both the power and the contact ability, because right now Will Turner simply can't do both at the same time. Pick number 8 was the only high school name the Red Sox have drafted up until this point, and that was Conrad Carson, a two-way player out of Greater Atlanta Christian High School. He was dominant on both sides of the ball this year with just a 0.48 ERA with 99 strikeouts in 43 and 2/3 innings. He throws gas. He sits around 95 miles an hour and had reached 99 miles an hour at just 17 years old in high school. He has a really solid off-speed pitch mix with a changeup and slider as well. At the plate, from the right-hand side, he hit 364 with 3 home runs, 28 RBIs, and walked 25 times. And on the bases, he stole 16 bags as well. This was one of the most exciting high school pickups the Boston Red Sox could have possibly taken. He does play shortstop, and I know before we get the, oh boy, another shortstop in the Red Sox system, we don't have enough of those comments. Again, we talk about this all the time. You want to take shortstops out of high school because they are simply the most athletic players on the team. In high school, when you were playing, who was the best player? I guarantee you it was the guy manning shortstop. That does not mean he's going to be a shortstop for his entire major league career. In fact, a lot of scouts believe that at some point he will make the transition over to being a full-time pitcher because of just simply how nasty he is on the mound. However, there is a possibility he does both for a little bit in the Red Sox system. Now, the interesting part of this is that with Conrad, there's the potential that he doesn't sign with the Boston Red Sox, because if he does go to college, there's a pretty good chance he ends up getting redrafted at some point within a higher round for more bonus money. So that is going to be something to keep an eye on. But if he does sign with the Sox and get into this system at just 17 years old, he's going to be a pretty interesting name to pay attention to as he makes his way through the minor leagues. Definitely could end up being a really big sleeper pick for the Boston Red Sox. Pick number 9 was a catcher by the name of Hudson White out of Arkansas, who had a really solid season, slashing .298 with a .396 on base percentage and a .525 slug for a .921 OPS. He also had 8 home runs, 12 doubles, and only 5 more strikeouts at 28 than walks at 23. Scouts really like Hudson's plate approach as well as his raw power potential, which has started to translate into more in-game potential, which is a really great sign. There is a lot of potential here offensively for Hudson White. Defensively, it's a bit more of a question mark. He's a solid receiver and a really solid framer, which could be a good sign, but he doesn't exactly have the arm right now to stick behind the plate defensively. If he can get his arm up to snuff, there's a good chance he sticks behind the plate as a catcher, but in college, he also did play some first base and second base, which could end up being the destination of the future for Hudson White if he can't figure out his arm strength. Either way, the big thing here is definitely his offensive potential, something to keep an eye on over the next few years. And finally, the last pick for the Boston Red Sox in day 2 is number 10 for good measure, yet another left-handed pitcher out of Vanderbilt named Devin Futrell. Not the best statistical season for Futrell this year with a 5.40 ERA in 48 and a third innings, but this dude's command is really impressive. Just 10 walks to 44 strikeouts this season. His walks per 9 is sitting in the ones. He throws a ton of strikes, and he has a lot of really solid movement on his off-speed pitches. The reason he was drafted so low is because scouts are unsure as to whether or not this is someone who can improve his velocity. Right now, his fastball is sitting in the very low 90s, hitting high 93, low right around that 89 mile an hour mark. If the Red Sox are confident that they can improve his velocity while maintaining his control, this could absolutely be someone to keep your eye on as we go forward throughout the Red Sox system. Now, those are the day 2 picks, so let's talk about what this could mean for what the Red Sox are planning on doing going forward with this team. I think it's pretty clear what the Red Sox are trying to do in this year's draft. They're trying to load up on pitchers, which I think is an absolutely fantastic idea, specifically because the Red Sox put so much emphasis this offseason on really revamping their entire pitching structure, not just at the major league level, but within the minor leagues as well. We've seen a lot of jumps from a lot of really interesting Red Sox pitching prospects this season, and now they really want to put that to the test. They're getting in as many arms as humanly possible to sort of see what comes out of it. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that 9 out of the 10 of the Red Sox first picks in this year's draft have been college players. And what this indicates to me is that the Red Sox are looking for this system to work a whole lot faster than it has in the past. And I actually think that's a really great idea. The Red Sox as a major league team right now are in a really good place. With the front office drafting college pitchers, drafting college players in general, they are looking to supplement this solid major league team as soon as humanly possible with more homegrown talent. I absolutely love that idea. What's also really interesting about this draft is for so many people who said that the Red Sox desperately need to focus on pitching or who were upset that the Red Sox did not take a pitcher in the first round, with the Red Sox taking a pitcher in both the second and the third rounds, this is the highest the Red Sox have drafted since 2016 when they selected Jay Groom with their first overall pick. It's the highest that they've selected any pitcher in the second round since 2017 when they selected Tanner Houck in the first round. They are clearly putting an emphasis on getting as many arms, specifically college arms, into this system as humanly possible. And again, I absolutely love that idea. I think getting as many arms as possible is something that Red Sox fans have been begging the Red Sox to do basically since the last couple of years, right? Since we got Brian Bayo up to the major league level, it's been okay. Now what? Who's coming up after him? Well, now the Red Sox have an entire influx of a whole bunch of different pitchers in this system with a whole bunch of different skill sets. This is going to be a real test for this Red Sox new pitching regime as to how they are able to get these guys from point A to point B and how quickly they can get these guys from point A to point B. But overall, taking a look at what the Red Sox have done so far, it's hard to be angry at it. They got an absolute stud in the first round, and since then, they've been really targeted in their approach. And so far, I think as Red Sox fans, we can't really ask for much more. This is Craig Breslow's first draft, and obviously, we won't be able to see the effects of this draft for at least a couple of years. I would say 2027 would probably be when we start to see legitimate impacts at the big league level, but still, it's an indication that the Red Sox are looking to add to this team pretty quickly, and they're looking to do it on the pitching side of things, which again, seems like a win-win to me, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what did you think of day 2? Did you like these picks? Do you like the direction? Do you wish they did something else? Let me know all your thoughts on the Red Sox draft strategy so far in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Sox almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just helps out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Don't forget, you can always get these episodes in podcast form on Spotify, wherever you want to listen. all you got to do is head over to your favorite app and look up Red Seat Radio. Don't forget, live tonight, 7:45-ish p.m. Eastern Time, right here on this channel for an all-star watch party. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the red seats.